On the news this afternoon, Nigeria Union of Journalists Rivers State Council inaugurates 5-man committee ahead of Press Freedom Day. FG shuts Enugu Airport for emergency repairs, and IMF welcomes Nigeria's bold reforms, insists outlook uncertain with low oil prices. Good afternoon and welcome to News at 3. I am Catherine Ago. Do you love and care about Rivers State and her peace? Let's build and take her to greater heights. This is the task we must accomplish. Now details of the news. The Commissioner of Police, Rivers State Command, CP Olubenga Adepoju, has extended Easter greetings to the people of Rivers State as they join Christians worldwide in commemorating the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. In his message, CP Adepoju urged Christian faithful to dedicate the Easter period to praying for peace and progress in both Rivers State and Nigeria as a whole, and also reassured residents of the state command's commitment to ensuring adequate security measures are in place throughout the Easter celebrations. He directed all area commanders, divisional police officers, Titus Eze, vice chairman, while Dr. Helen Nsirim will serve as secretary. Other members include Obeli Parker and Benson Finebone. This was part of the resolutions reached yesterday at the inaugural Congress of the Union under the new leadership of the NUJ at the Ernest Ikoli Press Center, Moscow Road, Port Harcourt. Briefing journalists at the maiden Congress meeting, the chairman of the Rivers State Council of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, Paul Baza Nsane, underscored the significance of World Press Freedom Day and charged the committee members to mobilize members from all NUJ chapters in the state to be part of the activities, which will begin with media advocacy, visits and feature freedom work, talk shows, and climax with a press conference. He called on all members to participate in the forthcoming program, which will kickstart so many other programs lined up for the council. President of Rotary Club of Port Harcourt, GRA, Rotary Douglas Okafor, has reiterated the club's commitment to train more senior secondary school students in the sciences. Rotary Okafor stated this while addressing the students at the grand finale of the 13th edition of the Rotary Einstein Science Challenge held in Port Harcourt. Emmanuel Emionu reports that about 250 schools participated in the interview session. Take a look.
Rotarian Okafor emphasized that the Rotary Einstein Science Challenge is a critical project of the Rotary Club of Port Harcourt GRA, geared towards developing science-inclined youngsters to contribute to the development of the country scientifically and become self-reliant. He said the decision became necessary having known the important place of science in the world and harped on the need for students to be groomed in the sciences from tender ages, as he added that the yearly project, which is computer-based, where about 250 schools took part in the interview section, was trimmed down to 10 in the final stage. According to Okafor, Rotary has impacted lives in the society through its humanitarian services by restoring hope and will continue to stand on its mandate in assisting the government to ensure a better society for all.
What we try to do with this project is discover those young talents and try to encourage and nurture them. What we've given them today is a token, but still it will go a long way in telling them that you're on the right course. Science and technology is propelling the world. We want much more and more of those our youngsters heading towards is how the Chinese have been able to move 1 billion people out of poverty. It's the same way that we should be able to move our people out of poverty using science education. So that's basically what this project is about.
Co-chair of the 13th season of the Eastern Science Challenge project, Rotarian Ofon Harcourt White, said the final participants were challenged to innovate science projects which professionals assessed and choose from. According to her, some of the winners in the previous project are now employers in higher institutions. Therefore, parents and guardians should encourage their children and ward to be innovative and science-oriented as they support them through school.
About 12 years ago, and since then, we've been doing well with it and encouraging and turning out wonderful science students and Einstein, winners. Now, it doesn't mean that the other winners, didn't win as such, but we have to take the first three who we feel those projects are innovative and, I can go a long way.
At the end of the display of their project, Omoregie Lucy of Our Lady of Fatima College emerged the second runner-up. Ugoke Chigozie Peter of Community Secondary School Oroworuko became the first runner-up, while Ugonna Obi of the Nigerian Navy Secondary School Borokiri emerged the overall winner. Consolation prizes of 50,000 naira were presented to the participants. Parents and students spoke about the laudable innovation of Rotary Club of Port Harcourt GRA.
I would like to thank Rotary very much. I wish they can also continue this they are doing, and they are really trying very well.
Very happy and surprised, and I also want to thank Rotary for how they are impacting lives, especially students from senior secondary school.
I'm thanking Rotary for giving me this opportunity to work under stress and to yield good results, and I pray this event continues.
Emmanuel Emenyonu, Rstv News.
A quarterly fasting and prayer session with the theme, Let There Be Peace in the Land, has been concluded with a charge for Rivers people to embrace peace to foster peaceful coexistence and for progress. The session, which was conducted and organized by the pastor in charge of the Peace Impartation, Mountain of Fire and Miracles Ministries, Rumola, Pastor Godwin Akpan, gathered members from other branches of the ministry. Melvin Jackson has more.
Pastor Akpan stated that the state is going through trying times, and whenever things happen the way it is, prayer is inevitable. The organizer of the prayer session charged all living and doing business in the state to join forces in prayers to bring lasting peace in the state, as it is the only panacea to progress and development. The clergy added that rather than indulging in physical protests that could cause chaos, prayers should be the ultimate solution, citing Proverbs 25 verse 25 and Ezekiel 8 that God abhors a wicked soul.
That 21 days later, you agree with us. Say, do it for your nation, do it for your state, and you see national blessing for you. If you're a member of the church and a Christian and a believer, it is not your portion to go on the street to do the protest. There are demons attached to all those things. See any power in getting of my problem. From the government, from the state, from my village.
Pastor Akpan advised that Christians should steer clear from politically motivated protests and be proactive in changing the narrative of pulling down the government and the state, saying when the Israelites were faced with challenges in the wilderness, prayers was the only key that brought them succor.
We know of Israel, how Israel were governed by kings. We knew how Solomon governed and it was in peace. We knew some other leaders that governed and it was not very well until they called for God's intervention. And when they called for God to intervene, God intervened. So those are the Bible examples. Saul ruled, David ruled. In the times of David there was issues. In the time of Saul there were issues. In the time of Amaziah there were issues. Majority of the kings of Israel there were issues. But the good thing was that when they had issues as leaders, they normally go back to God. And when they call upon God and God intervene, that's why we have the confidence that no matter what happens in our nation, God will intervene and will give us peace.
In a testament, Pastor Mrs. Ushena John, who commended the organizer of the peace prayer for the gesture, said that the situation of Rivers State demands for prayers, as she solicited for everyone in the state to go to God in their closet and pray for the state to be in peace. Mrs. John advocated that when prayers is involved, no power of evil supersedes in the activities of the state.
Put our hands on the plow and actually pray. Go down on our knees in our closets and ask God for peace. Because in the peace of the place where we are, the land where we are, in the peace of Rivers State, we also have our own peace. If there's war, we'll all be at war and we can't even come out. We can't even have fellowship with God wants us to have. But if there's peace, we serve God better. We are better. We have more prosperity. Rivers State is a call for peace. We pray for peace for Rivers State, which is paramount. Peace is something that cannot be bought with money. God gives peace. And that's why we came together today. Thank God for Pastor Godwin Akpan. He called us and said we should come together to pray for the peace of Rivers State.
Melvin Jackson, Rstv News.
The Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria (FAN) has shut down the Akanu Ibian International Airport of Enugu State for emergency runway repairs. Director, Public Affairs and Consumer Protection Obiageli Ora said this in a statement in the early hours of today, Saturday. She said the measure became necessary due to a sudden rupture in the asphalt surface at the critical section of the runway. According to the statement, while the repairs are ongoing, all flights will be redirected to nearby airports. The federal government, in collaboration with the Katsina state government, has taken measures to tackle the high rate of maternal and neonatal deaths ravaging 15 out of 34 local government areas in the state. Speaking during the Mami Activation Program in Katsina, the National Coordinator Sector-Wide Coordination Office Abuja, Montaka Sadit, said Katsina State has 15 local government areas with the highest number of maternal and neonatal deaths. Represented by Mr. Omori Iyahen, Sadiq explained that the launching and activation of the MAMI program in the state would significantly reduce the alarming causes of maternal and neonatal deaths across the state. Do you love and care about Rstv State and her peace? Let's build and take her to greater heights. This is the task we must accomplish. Still to come after the break, U.S. Supreme Court halts deportation of detained Venezuelans. These and more stories will come to you after the break. Stay tuned.
Make you sabi, make una plan well.
Learn correct information about different kind of family planning method. Then they safe and they work well. You and your partner fit plan when una like to born pikin.
Tanda well, make you yarn with your partner. Make them sabi say you support modern family planning.
Oya waka go kolobi the better one wey go fit your body today. Cause say we get one wey correct for you and your partner.
Sabi the correct thing wey family planning dey do. Follow talk family planning with your partner. Waka go do family planning. Get it together. Get it together. Join hand plan your family for tomorrow way better.
Now the Rivers State Ministry of Health bring una this message.
This is Rstv World News. We bring you world-class news, accurate, first-hand, entertaining, balanced analysis. Rstv, Channel 22 Port Harcourt.
You're welcome back. You're still watching the news at 3 on Rstv. Now to the rest of our news stories. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) has commended Nigeria's ongoing economic reforms, describing them as bold measures that have helped stabilize the economy and laid the groundwork for future growth. However, the fund also cautioned the declining oil prices and global economic uncertainty could pose risk to the country's macroeconomic outlook. According to the report, Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) in its January 2025 economic report revealed that the federal government attracted $2.06 billion in the foreign capital in January compared to $1.57 billion in December 2024, amid favorable returns in the domestic financial markets. The country also improved its trade surplus to $2.20 billion from $1.06 billion in December. He said the Nigerian authorities have taken important steps to stabilize the economy, enhance resilience, and support growth. The financing of the fiscal deficit by the central bank has ceased, costly fuel subsidies were removed, and the functioning of the foreign exchange markets has improved. A court in Tunisia has sentenced a group of senior politicians, businessmen, and lawyers to long prison sentences on conspiracy and terrorism charges. The defendants received sentences of up to 66 years. They include leaders of National Salvation Front, the main opposition coalition, who were arrested in 2023. Human rights groups described the trial as an attempt to stifle dissent. President Kais Saied suspended parliament after being elected in 2019. Last year, he won a second term by a landslide after jailing dissidents and potential rivals. In the latest case, a total of 40 defendants were accused of conspiracy against state security and belonging to a terrorist group. Most had left the country and were tried in absentia. Those in detention include National Salvation Front leaders Issam Chebi and Jawa Ben Mbarek. They were given 18-year sentences, a defense lawyer told newsmen following the ruling late on Friday. Kamel El Taif, an activist and businessman, was jailed for 66 years. A gunman has fired at a church in Sri Lanka Saturday, with the country on high alert 6 years since Easter Sunday bombing killed hundreds. Reports from Sri Lanka police said the gunman opened fire Friday at a church in Manampitia, 160 kilometers northeast of the capital, Colombo. The shooting damaged windows and no one was hurt, while a suspect has been arrested, police said. Armed police and troops have been deployed to nearly all churches nationwide during Easter celebrations, with security heightened following the 2019 attack. Suicide bombers in 2019 killed 279 people, including 45 foreigners, at 3 churches and 3 hotels. More than 500 people were wounded in the attack, which officials blamed on a homegrown Islamic group. The Catholic Church will commemorate the victims on Monday by declaring them heroes of the faith. Sri Lanka's Catholic minority has maintained a campaign for justice since the bombings, saying that prior investigations failed to answer outstanding questions. The church has accused successive governments of protecting those behind the attack, and several high-level investigations have identified links between military intelligence units and the bombers. The U.S. Supreme Court has ordered the Trump administration to pause the deportation of a group of alleged Venezuelan gang members. The men are being held in detention in North Texas under an 18th century wartime law, and a civil liberties group has sued the government, saying that they have not had a chance to contest their case in court. Donald Trump has sent accused Venezuelan gang members to a notorious mega jail in El Salvador, invoking the 1798 Alien Enemies Act, which gives the president power to order the detention and deportation of natives or citizens of enemy nations without usual processes. It was last invoked in the World War II, when people of Japanese descent were imprisoned without trials and thousands sent to internment camps. Since taking office in January, Trump's hardline immigration policies have encountered a number of legal hurdles. Trump had accused Venezuelan gang Trent de Aragua of perpetrating, attempting, and threatening an invasion or predatory incursion on U.S. territory. The Supreme Court initially ruled on 8th April that Trump could use the Alien Enemies Act to deport alien gang members, but deportees must be given a chance to challenge their removal. Donald Trump has said the U.S. will take part on brokering further Russia-Ukraine talks if Moscow or Kyiv makes it difficult. It makes it very difficult to reach peace deal. The U.S. president told reporters in the Oval Office on Friday that he was not expecting a truce to happen in a specific number of days, but he wanted it done quickly. His comments came hours after U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio warned that the U.S. would abandon talks unless there were clear signs of progress within days. Following a meeting with European leaders in Paris about a potential ceasefire on Thursday, Rubio told reporters on Friday there was need to determine whether this was doable. He admitted that a peace deal would be difficult to strike.
With this endeavor for weeks and months on end. So we need to determine very quickly now, and I'm talking about a matter of days, whether or not this is doable over the next few weeks. If it is, we're in. If it's not, then we have other priorities to focus on as well.
America's ally.
And on entertainment, controversial singer Badmus Okikiola, popularly known as Portable, has knocked out his rival Darlington Okoye, also known as Speed Darlington, in a bout tagged Chaos in the Rings. It was a fight to finish at the Balmoral Event Center in Lagos, as Portable displayed incredible boxing skills and defeated his opponent by technical knockout. The fight, which was held on Saturday morning, saw the two celebrities throw punches at each other, and the Zazuze Krona emerged victorious after knocking out and leaving Darlington with an injured right wrist. Do you love and care about Rivers State and her peace? Let's build and take her to greater heights. This is the task we must accomplish. With that, we conclude the Rstv News at 3. I am Catherine Ago. Many thanks for being part of it, and have a beautiful weekend.